Okay, I figured out my key to success, now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith. I'm uptown, I'm the one they wanna shop with. Run off with the bag even though we don't shoplift. All that gun talk y'all want, I'm not with. It's not cool, everybody got them long clips. You gon' mess around and get one of your dogs hit. And when you do, I hope you know you're not John Wick.
What up? Good afternoon, good morning, good night.
Yes.
Whenever you're watching this. Appreciate you logging in with us. I'm Atwood, kill it to my left, DK. Before we get into the fights this weekend, talk about last weekend. First and foremost, you went up to Disney. You were there on business, but you made it pleasure too,
made
right?
a little trip over to Disney World.
How did that go? Because I mentioned on the Pod McKinney that you're up there for Kids Pans.
Yeah. So we did. We had Kids Pan Ams, and so for people that don't really know about kids tournaments, they don't have a Kids World's Championship, right? Okay. So Pan Ams is like, it's up there, man. You know, it's the biggest tournament for kids. And so we took 5 kids, all gray belts. So, you know, you have to be at least a gray belt to compete. So
real quick, how do the belts work with kids? So
you got a gray white, you have a solid gray, and a gray black. They all compete as a gray belt.
Okay.
Then you have obviously the after gray, black, you can get a yellow, white, solid yellow, solid or yellow black, meaning yellow with a black stripe in the middle. And what this did was, and then after that you go on to orange, and then you go on to green. So it's like, there's a lot of kids belts.
Okay.
And it's, you know, over time. Anyways, first day was teen division. So teens, so it goes by your age year. So you don't compete against people any older than you really, or any younger than you. If that makes sense, right?
Right.
So your age year, that's going to be your bracket with your weight class, right? So a lot of divisions for kids. A lot of divisions. Because they want it to be the most fair, right? They want it to be really equal in age and really equal in weight. Because, man, you get a kid that's a year older than another kid, that could be a big difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A kid's matured more in a year, you know, like stronger. Anyways, so they want them to compete the same year. But so day one was a Friday, and I left on a Wednesday. Did Magic Kingdom that night, and then when I got there, dude, we left at 4:30 in the morning.
Damn.
Yeah,
we like an 8-hour drive.
Ends up being a 10-hour drive with a toddler.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it was about a 10-hour drive, man. After we stopped, we let him run around and walk around, so it's not like we're driving for 10 hours, right? We stop. We'd let him out of rest stops and different things like that. We go to Buc-ee's, of course.
Got to go to Buc-ee's.
And go to Buc-ee's and, you know, walk around and let him terrorize people in there and get some snacks and stuff. And then we get back on the road, and then about 2 or 3 hours later, we stop. Usually every 2 or 3 hours, we'll stop and let him get out and stretch his legs and stuff. Because, I mean, he's in a car seat, can't really move, you know. Yeah. So, and then Thursday we did Animal Kingdom all day long. And then Friday, Ethan showed up. Or it came Thursday, but Friday we took him to Animal Kingdom again. Did that. Rode. I don't know if anybody's. You ever seen the movie Pandora?
No.
Or Avatar. Sorry.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Avatar. Pandora. Anyways,
I was thinking to myself. I was like, I've never heard of that.
Never heard of that. Yeah. So the movie Avatar, they have 2 rides there, and they have a whole land built around this Pandora world.
Okay.
You know, so if you've seen the movie, you know it, like the floating map, like
it's been a long time.
Little rocks in the sky and stuff. I don't know.
Only thing I remember is that like they touch tails or something.
Oh my God.
That's all I remember.
Touch tails.
They're big and blue, and they have like tails that like stick to shit.
Yeah, they go into that banshee or.
Okay.
You know,
which is kind of weird.
It is weird.
Like,
it is super weird, bro. Like their tail, they can link to this banshee, right? And so they can control the banshee with their mind. Anyways, they have a ride where you ride one of those things.
Okay.
Now, and it's 3D.
You have to gingerly touch your tails.
No, you don't.
Okay.
But you do. It's like a Neuralink is what they call it.
Okay.
Like, and so this air blows on you. You got to like move around and different things like that. Anyways, you go in and you got these 3D glasses on, and you get on this thing like a motorcycle almost, and the thing's breathing, right? Like you can feel it.
Okay.
In between your legs.
Okay.
Dude, and so you take off, and it's an animatronic thing. So your seat and everything's moving around, all kinds of crazy. You got your glass on. It's like you're flying this thing in Pandora. It is really intense, dude. Ask Ethan about it. It's like I think that's his favorite ride. Mine's Guardians of the Galaxy. That ride is sick. It's just it is weird.
I mentioned this with Kenny. Like you love it. It's crazy. Like how much you love Disney, bro.
So it's not that I love Disney, right? It's that I enjoy having a good time, right? When I was a kid, I didn't get to go to Disney a lot. You know, I went once when I was a little kid that I don't really remember, right? And then I went once when I was like 13. That was it, dude. I went like 2 or 3 times as a kid, you know, and only one of them I really remember. And so, me and Megan, same way. She didn't really go as a kid either. And, you know, we got our son gets in free. There's all these other people there with kids. And those kids make our kids look like angels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you go to this park with all these kids and stuff, and it doesn't matter if your kid acts full. Go to a nice restaurant. It doesn't matter if your kid acts full. Like, they're going to do everything to, like, help you, you know, and, like, they cater to kids and different things like that. So it's like it's not as uptight as you think it out to be, right? And plus, you got to know how to do it the right way. You got to know how to book your rides in advance. You got to know what food is actually pretty good and what, you know, you bring your own water so you're not spending $3-4 on a bottle of water, you know, each time. So we bring our own Yeti water. Like, we have a whole plan and a system down. We have fans that clip onto the stroller, so when we push the stroller, fans blowing on us. Like, yeah, man. Like, we do it up, dude.
I only went to Disney, I think, twice my entire life. First time, don't really remember. I was there doing a competition, don't really remember it.
Competition for karate.
And then
at ESPN, Wide World of Sport.
It was nationals, and I guess I've been there twice.
I think it would be cool if they had the jiu-jitsu tournament ESPN Wide World of Sports.
That'd be cool.
That would.
Well, I mean, they
sick.
definitely have the facilities for it.
Yeah, but it's probably a money thing too. So, dude,
probably.
So, Kids Pan Am's was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You had to pay for parking every day. $10 a car.
Okay.
How much money do you think they made?
$10 a car. There's probably easily, like 3,000 people?
Easily.
So maybe we'll just say like 5,500 to 6,000 cars.
Yo, so what are you thinking in a day? I say they're making at least $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only 1,000 cars.
I'd say at least.
That's 1,000 cars.
Yeah. That's crazy. How much you think that like Pans is paying them just to rent the facility?
I don't know, man. That's a good.
Probably in $5,000 a day.
I say at least 10 because it's like a big venue.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do they do it at like the sports one?
It's called it's not ESPN. They don't do it at that. It's called so it's not in Orlando. It's actually in Kissimmee. So it's at Silver Spurs Arena. They actually have rodeos and shit.
Oh, so it's not on the property.
No, not at all.
They just
So the only reason I started, another reason I started staying at Disney, and I got a flashback 2 years ago. Megan was pregnant. I knew we were going to be, Orlando is a big city, man.
Yeah.
And I knew that we, at hotels and stuff, people get robbed at hotels.
Yeah.
Different a lot of things happen, right? Well, on Disney resort property, no matter how expensive the resort is, you have to be able to either scan in and the gate lets you in, or you stop at the gate guard, and the gate guard, you have to have either a reservation to eat at the restaurant in your resort, or you have to have a reservation to get in the property. So
security's pretty tight there.
You
don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and most people that are staying on Disney property, like, they're just trustworthy people for the most part. You're not going to find a lot of thieves, that are stealing people's stuff, because here's another thing is people don't want to, Disney will ban you for life, bro. Like, real quick. They'll and that, you don't ever want that to be like, man, I can't ever be on Disney property ever again, because they'll find out you're on. That's weird. Have you ever seen Bebe's Kids? Movie Bebe's Kids? Nope. There's an old 90s movie. It's called Bebe's Kids, and this guy... Bebe's Kids, yeah. This guy, he's a single... It's a cartoon. And he takes his kids, takes this girl he's trying to date or whatever. He takes her and her kids and everybody, and they go to Disney World. Like Disney World. And there's, like, secret cameras, and, I don't know if Disney has, like, underneath it has all this... It has underground stuff underneath.
I didn't know that, but it does not surprise me.
So you have passageways and everything underneath Disney, so the characters can get from one area to the other, and you don't ever see them, right? You don't ever see them they just pop up like, wow, where did this character come from? So everything's under Disney World's actually built like on the second story, so underneath it is all like tunnels and shit like that.
That sounds like a government conspiracy.
Right? And so in Bebe's Kids, it's like there's these Secret Service agents in these tunnels, and, and they're popping up out of, their heads like popping up. And their kids are Bebe's Kids are just so bad, and they're just destroying this park, And these,
how old is this movie?
It's from the 90s.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a cartoon. It's like, black dude, it's like this girl, this lady, she was like living in like projects, and her kids were bad and everything, like house was just dirty and everything, and this guy's trying to like date their mom and stuff, I guess, but called Bebe's Kids, or he had to watch the kids or something like that. I can't really remember. It's been
a long time,
probably 30 years since I've seen the movie.
Well,
forget them.
How did the kids do?
They ended up doing all right, for our tournament. Bebe's Kids. Yeah. How'd they do?
They grew up. They became very respectable people.
Yeah, man. They got out of the projects, moved on up to the east side. So, no. We lost our first match on Friday. Had a kid from AOJ, Art of Jiu-Jitsu, and he was like, man, the kid's good, bro. Because the kid we put up against him was good. And
is that a kid that I think Ethan was talking the other day that hit like a flying armbar or triangle or some shit?
I don't know. Kid just is good, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's solid fundamentals. So you're thinking it's the best team in the world. AOJ, as far as their kids program is concerned, like, they're good, man. And, I mean, Tannen, Dalpra, Hoffa Mendez, Guy Mendez, I mean, those are the best guys in the world, and they got this school called Art of Jiu-Jitsu out of Costa Mesa, California, and man, their kids are good. I don't know what they do. Me and Megan are trying to figure out what the recipe is to make their kids so good. I get it that they're good, but it just doesn't just I touch you and you're good automatically, right? Like, how is it consistent that you have multiple world champions, And so we're trying to figure that out. And obviously we don't have a whole lot of kids classes throughout the day. That's another thing in California. You got a lot of people homeschool. A lot of people have more money. A lot of people, kids do private school, all these different things. And California is just so many more people than Myrtle Beach. And so, like, the amount of influx. I mean, Tannen it's his 6 a.m. class has 90 to 100 people.
I was about to say, it's probably a huge school, like you said, more money. So the parents that are taking their kids there, the kids, I mean, listen.
You ever been to Costa Mesa?
No, I've never been to California.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Costa Mesa is in Orange County, and it's near Laguna and Costa del Mar, and all that.
That's what the sunglasses are named after.
So it's I don't know if that's what it's named after, but anyways, but it's right on the water. You know, the ocean. It's beautiful, beautiful Laguna and all that. Man, it's just so beautiful.
And dude, those kids are probably paying, or those parents are probably paying like,
I want to
say $300 a month for those.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so they're not taking their kids there unless their kids are serious.
Yeah, and then a private lesson with those guys.
Oh, dude, probably like $250 an hour.
I would, probably. Well, Guy Mendez when he came here to Myrtle Beach was $500
an hour. Dude. I'm not taking away from that dude's skill,
but 5 years ago.
What the fuck can you teach me in an hour?
Actually, 6 years ago.
That is worth $500.
6 years ago. Let's say this, though. Let's say, and this was a good thought that was brought up to me about this. What's his name? One of the Gracies. Name him. The guy
Hickson?
No, not Hickson. The Henner. Henner Gracie I heard he charged $750 an hour.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
$750 an hour. But this is what if you can't escape mount and you want to know how to escape mount, right? Mm-hmm. So you go to Henner. You're like, I want to work on escaping mount. He's like, all right. Hour you work. That's all you work on. You spend it. Give him $750. Now you never have any problems escaping out.
I mean, true, right? But let me ask you this. At what point?
So let's say it would have taken you 3 years to be able to learn all the things he told you in an hour.
Yeah, but maybe escaping mount wasn't the best one to go with, though, because that's like shit that we do every day.
It is, but it isn't, right? Like, what if you get put in mount so much and you can't figure out why, and you can't ever escape and you get submitted. And it's just, let's say you're a beginner, right? Let's say you've been doing this 6-7 months.
So flashback to like a year and a half ago for me.
Yeah.
I just, man, for me, it's just like, at what point?
I can't imagine it either.
At what point and I'm going to ask you this, right? Money-wise, at what point do you say, not worth it?
Depends on the person, I guess.
Forget that, though, right? Because a lot of those guys, let's be honest, right? A lot of those guys, very knowledgeable and probably very good at jiu-jitsu, but it's almost like whenever I go to Ross and I buy a Hurley shirt there for $8, or I go to Tsunami Surf Shop or Village Surf Shop and I buy a Hurley shirt for $30, right? It's like you're paying for the name. Let's be honest. Yeah. You're paying for the name. Yeah. So, but at what point does the money outweigh, like, how do I put this? See, if Kenny were here, he would have already put this into words for me.
Well, I was trying to explain it.
Oh, sorry.
Like that, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you learn a move that completely changes the trajectory of your jiu-jitsu and completely changes it. That $750 was probably worth it. If it would have taken you 7 years to learn whatever he taught you, or let's say you have been working on whatever you're wanting to, you got to figure out butterfly guard, right? You know that in your back pocket, you got the best butterfly guard because of this hour of drilling and understanding that now is a knowledge that it can never escape you unless you get dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's a skill somebody has taught you and given you, right? That can never be taken away from you. You know?
Do you think an hour is enough time to learn something to that degree?
I think it's a an hour is a long time to be practicing, and be drilling. It's probably like it's the sweet spot, so they say. But it has to be
implemented,
implemented and drilled, right? So you can do an hour here, but it would be good to do another hour the next week, and then another hour the next week. So it's repetitive, right? Like if you learn the move, unless you have video and an exact breakdown, you were not going to know exactly what he showed you.
Yeah.
So.
And then you can learn a move, but also when you're drilling or whenever you're rolling live, shit's going to change because it's never, well, I don't say never, but it's not always going to go down how it went down in the private.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's certain scenarios that usually go very similar, right? So we have consistent stuff that happens, but yeah. So it's just wild to think about, man. I mean,
yeah,
dude's
how much paying his mortgage off of, 2 privates.
Yeah, man. Well, definitely a car payment for sure.
Yeah. Well, if you're Henner, your car payment's probably like $1,000, but
bro, a $60,000 to get, if you wanted a $60,000 vehicle nowadays, a $60,000 vehicle it's not that much.
It is.
I'm just telling you, a $60,000 vehicle is not what it used to be. Right?
Well, right,
$60,000 vehicle used to be a Suburban.
Yeah.
Now that's a $90,000 to $100,000 vehicle.
Yeah.
So a $60,000 vehicle at 8% interest.
Well, if you're getting a new vehicle in today's, and I only know this because I'm car shopping, if I go get a new vehicle, I can get interest probably 1 to 2. But if I go get a used vehicle, that interest is going to be in the mid 8s to low 9s.
Yep.
And it doesn't really matter on your credit score.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And so at an 8% interest for $60,000 vehicle, I can't remember what the years on it was.
And it also
Maybe
depends on
5
how
years.
long you finance it for.
Yeah. You're looking at a $1,200 car payment, dude.
Yeah. That's crazy, dude.
Which is crazy.
That's why I can't do it.
You can't do it, man. Like, I see a lot of these parents. I see people pull up in a big, giant, brand new Suburban and everything. I'm like, man, that's a $1,200 car payment, right?
I'm gonna start charging them $300 for privates.
Yeah, I'm like, you got a lot of Suburbans pulling up in here. Right?
Yeah, I like to squeeze a couple hundred.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, but that's the difference between me and a lot of other people, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Like you said, it's like, I can raise my prices to this, or I can do this, and eventually it just. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You got to want to be able to teach people and not.
Well, those people that are paying Henner, they're paying for the name.
Well, you also got to look at it. He trains superstars too.
Yeah.
Right. So $750 to them.
Nothing.
It's
when you look at people like probably any of the Gracies really, or I'm drawing a blank. Is it? What's the dude's name from New York? Marcelo.
Marcelo, yeah.
Another guy probably charges a shit ton of money.
So he used to be $250 to $300. I think it was $300, but that was when I was a purple belt.
Oh, so that was years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
so
probably,
I mean, you're looking, dude. I've been July 25th was 10 years as a black belt. For me, which is unreal. And I can. I remember hearing stories about Dylan Dennis. Dylan used to do privates, and it was $300 an hour.
But he came from money too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
for sure. Rolling, dude. I don't know if he was telling the story or somebody else was telling the story, but whenever he was training with Marcelo and he lived in New York, he had an apartment or a townhome or something that
been there.
Oh,
yeah,
so it was you that told us.
Yeah,
okay.
I was there.
And he would just walk down.
Yeah, he lived in the same apartment complex as Marcelo, which was literally in the apartment complex right next.
And is that like academy. Downtown, like in the city?
It's in Manhattan, man.
Oh, dude,
so you're looking at one of the 20-something Avenue. I can't remember where the Marcelo Academy is exactly, but I want to say it's like in the 20s or 30s avenues.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of money.
Yeah. And his house was fully furnished. I want to say it was I think it was his dad's primarily, but obviously
when you're a kid, everything's your dad's. Yeah.
And the reason we went there, man, is because Kurt, my coach, was wanting got some box turtles and buying
what?
Box turtles. You know what box turtles are? Like
an actual turtle?
Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like little box turtles, the little ones.
But you're talking about like actual turtles?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can like swim, and they don't get too big. They don't get crazy big. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So he was.
So they are legal to buy in New Jersey and I think all around. So he had Dylan go to Chinatown to pick up 2 box turtles
For what?
For his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were about to say that Kurt was like hustling box
No.
turtles.
He was getting them for his daughter. So they went to Chinatown to buy these fucking box turtles, bro. Can you imagine? Chinatown of all places are selling box turtles.
That's crazy.
Which is like, man, could Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles really be a thing?
Well, if there's any place, it's going to be in New York, dude.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about really anything that we were supposed to talk about today.
No, we got off. Fuck it, dude. You can get, back in the day, you could get those turtles from any beachwear store down here. You could get a hermit crab with any purchase for free.
You don't see any of that anymore.
No, because I think it's illegal now. I know they made the hermit crabs illegal, so I imagine if they did it with them,
you remember hermit crabs? It's the fucking colored shell, the painted shells.
I had one.
Can you imagine hermit crabs walking around like, what's up?
Yeah, like
he's got
painted your shell.
Yeah, he's got a pirate flag on his shell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And back before it was cool, you get the one with the rainbow, and he's just all in the corner by himself because all the other crabs are like making fun of him and shit. It's like,
poor guy,
dude. I had a hermit crab one time, and we lost it. How you lose a hermit crab? No idea. But in my mom's bedroom, she had one of those like sliding glass closets. It was like a big mirrored closet, sliding door, right? And she said one day she just heard a tick, 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 and it wouldn't stop. And she opened it up, and there he is, stuck in the damn closet. You know how long it probably took him to get all the way across the trailer?
When was
into that closet? Whenever I was a kid.
I know, but how many days?
I don't know, probably a couple days.
Poor guy.
But it's like, how the hell did he get from this side? I mean, it was a trailer, but it was a long-ass trailer, dude. Like, how'd you get from this side to this side with nobody noticing you?
God.
And then get into the damn closet?
Yeah. He eventually die?
Huh?
Eventually die?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't long after that. I think he was checked out.
And that's the problem, man, is like these people, they buy these that's what, they would just die.
Well, I mean, I don't think the life expectancy is very long on them either,
And box turtles, they are.
Really?
Yeah.
They last a long time?
Yeah, and they shit in the water, and
they probably eat it.
100%. Yeah, and it's just like aquarium. I remember going over Kurt's house, and he's got, and they haven't cleaned the tank in a while,
Got to get you some fish that'll clean that shit for you, man.
Yeah, man. So, speaking of Disney, they have fish that eat mosquitoes in all the ponds. So when you go in the parks, you don't really have to worry about bugs because
just gators.
Yeah. You hear that story about that?
Yeah, years back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also saw another story not too long ago of lady was at Disney and took a picture of a dude swimming in one of the ponds.
Yes, that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago.
A couple weeks ago, dude went swimming in, I want to say it was over near Tom Sawyer Island, which is like they have this little island in Disney, and you take this ferry to and stuff. Well, yeah, he was swimming in the water. Several months ago, a dude got kicked out in Disneyland, stripped down into his underwear on It's a Small World ride, and was just walking around throughout the It's a Small World.
Oh, yeah. Kind of looked like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Talk about for life ban.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Dude, if we would have got caught doing some of the things we did there on my senior trip, we'd be banned for life too, bro.
I can't see. It was so weird. My senior trip, I went to New York City. And
nice.
Yeah.
With your school or by yourself?
With our school.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, we went with our school, and they let us out till like midnight by ourselves. Dude, me and my friends, we just wait by. This is a legit true story. We wait outside a liquor store. Dude comes out, hey man, we buy some liquor.
Oh, you pulled a hey mister.
Fuck yeah,
That used to work back in the day.
We got some liquor, man, and just walked around New York City just sipping on this liquor.
Damn. We didn't do well, I mean, kind of. Like, so my
17-year-old, 17.
Exactly. Like, we went to Disney, but my friend's mom, they were from New Jersey, and they had money, and she owned a dance studio. And the same week that we were going to be there for our school senior trip, her dance studio was going to be there doing a competition. So instead of me and him going with the school, we went with his family. So we didn't have to stay with him. Right. And, man, one night we were out by the pool, and we saw this group of dudes. They had like a bottle of Kahlua and something else. And they gave us the Kahlua. But when they weren't looking, I don't remember what the other shit was, but we took that and ran. And we got smoked, bro. We got smoked. I also took a little bit back, I used to smoke some weed. Took some of that, and we had us a good-ass time. And we were staying in the resort that had, like, the football field with X's and O's on it.
Yeah, the All-Star Resort.
Yeah, that's where we were staying. And also, not only was it the dance stuff going on, but it was the cheerleading championships. So we were in heaven.
Man,
now, we had no game.
Yeah.
We weren't going up and talking to these cheerleaders, but it was cool to look at them.
You're like, man, that girl's pretty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, we had us a great time, bro.
That's so funny, dude.
I remember we'd just be out at the pool and just getting smashed, dude. Nobody would know because we had, our cups and it was in there.
Yeah.
But good time.
Yeah.
But real quick, so we got off on a tangent. So when it was all said and done this weekend, did we get any medals or anything like that?
Yeah, we got one bronze and one silver. Girl that got silver, she won last year. She got gold last year.
Okay.
This year she lost in the finals. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Girl she went against is good, man. And the problem with our kids was they weren't reacting first. I think they let a lot of the situation get to them,
Yeah.
and they didn't react and go and take charge and know what they wanted to do in their head and have a game plan, right? Mm-hmm. So they would kind of hang around, and then that person would capitalize and make the first move. And then in jiu-jitsu competition, when the other person makes the first move, you're on defense. You're immediately on defense, and that's not offensive, right? So the other person being offensive, now you're on defense, and you're trying to play catch up and to them because they started before you and all these other things, and it's tough, man. It's tough,
that's one of the most
kids.
nerve-wracking things, like, for me. So I would imagine it could be that way for kids too, is like worrying that if you make the first move and it doesn't go as planned, then you're in a bad position.
Yep.
And that just comes down to, what everything comes down to in this sport is just time in here on the map. But
yep, that's it.
A lot of times I'll find myself being complacent there too, because I don't want to make an excuse. I do not like to shoot, like, and mainly because what I would call my most dominant leg, I feel like is always compromised because I just don't have good mobility in my right knee. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't like to shoot because I feel like I don't know, I don't do it right, or maybe I'm not capable.
Well, not having the confidence is going to cause you not to shoot.
That as well. I don't have the confidence because of all these things. So, I've kind of just gotten to the point, I like in my head, I succumb to you're an old man now.
Yeah.
Just sit down and pull guard, But yeah, like so I can only imagine with the kids, and then having all that pressure too, that a lot of times is brought on by yourself, but just being hesitant in that regard to make the first move.
It is, man. It's just, you're just like, oh, okay, what should I do? You're second guessing yourself. You don't know what,
Yep.
And that's just more competition. They need more competition. When you have more competition, you're going to get a routine, and you're going to know what works every time, and what, how it can bend rules, and all these different things, and it just takes more time.
Yeah.
That's more competition time.
Yeah. And you get a lot of that from like these smaller tournaments, you know.
Yep.
I remember you said that a while back. You're like, I really don't want people going and competing at these big tournaments until they've been in these small ones, you know.
Yep. Been in these small ones and won, you know, and been in pressure situations in the small tournaments before you're in a pressure situation and a big pressure moment. You know, just makes more sense that way.
Yeah. Do you ever sense when people are competing that their biggest the thing they're scared of the most is letting you down?
Ooh, I don't ever think about that.
No,
I don't ever think about that.
I think when we were at, I mean, it's a small tournament, but Newbury, there was a couple times where I feel like, and maybe you don't notice it. I was sitting there with a camera, so I'm like, it's my job to observe everything. But whenever you would come and you'd sit down in the coach chair, some people would kind of like, you can just like see him like, all right, he's here now, you know, kind of like pressure's on, you know.
Yeah.
Coaches.
Well, I think some of it is like, man, I'm about to show my coach what's up. We're about to represent for a team. You know, I think some pressure, it's like you want to represent for your team, you know, and you want to put on for your coach. You want to show your coach that you're going to beat this kid, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like, to me, it feels like we're both competing against that person because I'm competing against that coach too. You know, I'm competing against what he's good at. I'm competing at telling you what to do, the right things. You know, better than he is and quicker than he is and louder, not necessarily louder, but just more precise and more helpful, right? I shouldn't be that coach that's just screaming and yelling and throwing up his hands, and even though I've done that. But over the years, I've learned a lot, you know, and I try to hold my emotions in check. You know, when people aren't listening to me, sometimes I'll just shut up. I just don't talk.
I saw you do that too.
Yeah. All right, not going to listen to me. I'm just going to watch you then.
Yeah.
You know? So you're going to do what you want to do, so do it.
Yeah.
See if it works.
Is that the hardest part of like coaching?
It's the hardest part, man, when people don't listen or don't. I don't know if it's that they don't want to listen.
Or if it's just like they're scrambling. And
you're exactly right.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't hear you.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's that sensory, you know, overload, you know, like they can't hear anything. They just hear, they hear just craziness, you know. And I've been there where my first fight was that way. And that's what makes competition so important with real life too.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a high stress adrenaline situation.
You get used to they're having those emotions without the risk of dying.
Yeah, handling the situation while you are stressed and have adrenaline, being uncontrolled, instead of freaking out and just, you know, going crazy. You know, you're in control of that moment, whether you are or not. Right, like you got your shit together. Yeah, you're in control mentally.
Yeah.
So, you know, that can be hard for people sometimes.
Yeah. And you know, for me, competing, it's like, and you know, I do this. We've talked about this. I just do this for a hobby, right? I just like to get better and try to be a better version of myself. I really don't care too much about competing. But you know, when I did compete, I think most of the nerves came from like, I am a competitor when I do compete, right? Like I'm competitive with the smallest shit in life, which is weird that I don't really want to be like this big competitor in something that I really enjoy doing. I don't know, but it was letting myself down, right? Because like I try to tell myself going into it, and it's a mental game, right? Like you're going in this to have fun, just do your best. But then there's the other part of me is like, if you don't win this, you're a piece
of shit.
Yeah. So
we're very hard on ourselves. You know, I'm hard on myself. I'm like, whenever I was, you know, we just opened, and I'm trying to make a name for myself, you know, in the jiu-jitsu community, because I've made my name for myself for the most part in the MMA community. I wanted to make a name for myself in the jiu-jitsu community. So it's like, man, I'm in Pan Ams, and I've trained so hard, or I've like these other things, and I'm like, man, I got to do this. I got to beat this. Come on, and you sometimes psych yourself out, because you put too much pressure on yourself whenever there's been times where I'm relaxed and I know what I'm going to do, but those are hard. Mm-hmm. Those are the best times, but they're hard to get every time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. So before we get out of here, I know we got shit getting ready to go down. We did get off track. We didn't really talk about what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, we were going to talk about 304.
Yeah, but we're at least going to touch on the fights this weekend. Free fights, fight night. Sandhagen, Umar Nurmagomedov.
That's going to be a good one. You see, that dude beat Nathan Manis, and they just cut Nathan.
Yeah, that's something I saw too.
It's making big headline news, and
I saw him post
I'm friends
about
with Nate. Yeah, he said he's in touch with the UFC.
Well, they got back in touch with him after his tweet got like 1 million hits.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, listen, it might not be the most exciting, but his last fight was a good fight. Like he beat the dude's ass on the feet.
He's more exciting than a lot of these other motherfuckers out here.
That's true. I think that they put a higher standard on flyweight.
Ben Askren on the fucking
right
thing for so long.
Right. I think that they put a more pressure on the flyweights because they're smaller, faster, more endurance. They expect them just to be highlights. I don't know, but yeah, the dude's got bonuses in like his last couple of fights, and then he gets cut. Makes no sense.
I think he can make more money in PFL though.
I think most people who aren't superstars will. But let's be honest, the UFC sends him another con. He's signing it. Yeah. So Umar Nurmagomedov, Corey Sandhagen, who you got?
Everybody's on Sandhagen, man. You know what I'm saying? But Umar's
is striker and grappler.
Yeah.
Typically, I'd take the grappler.
I'm gonna go Umar.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll just go to the dark horse of everything because listen, man, that last name.
Oh, I know. You know the game plan. You hear that?
No,
name.
Man, dude. You know, and if everything works the way that it did with Khabib, man, he's gonna destroy him. But they're having some issues with their team right now, though.
Oh, I've heard
they got some terrorists and shit in their team.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going on?
Connor called that.
Yep.
I am gonna take Sandhagen. Man, I don't know. I really like Sandhagen, and I think that he'll find a way. He's so good on the feet. I think he'll find a way to get it done. Michael Chiesa, Tony Ferguson.
Chiesa.
Definitely. Love them both, man. Love Tony.
This has got to be Ferguson's last one if he's out.
And maybe even Chiesa's too, man. That dude's getting kind of old too. There was another fight. Oh, Davison Figueiredo and who did I say it was? Oh, Chito Vera.
Chito Vera.
You taking Chito?
Chito.
I take Chito as well.
Chito.
There's some other fights on the card, but those are the ones that stood out the most to me. So
getting loud back there.
It is getting loud back there. They're ready to go. Yeah. And I think Nick's trying to get out here to do a private anyway. So let's get out of here. Take us out.
Thank you guys for locking in with us. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and keep locking in with us. And we're going to keep doing this thing.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys. Till next time.